Alright, time to look through the comments section. I'm sure there's not too many comments YouTube automatically flagged. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Needless to say, I've had some takes and covered some subjects that you guys don't agree with. So today I'm going to be doubling down on some of my favorite controversies on this channel. That's right boys, strap in, because today we're going full chaos mode.
Did he say strap in or strap on?
Most recently, you guys have been screaming at me in the comments about my statement that DC Comics is more geographically diverse than Marvel, as stated here.
You ever notice that DC Comics characters are way more geographically spread out than Marvel's? I mean, think about it. The Fantastic Four, and yes, this was Sue Storm's costume in the 90s, Spider-Man, and Iron Man all function within New York City. And if that's not enough, characters like Daredevil micromanage the shit out of a 1 square mile neighborhood.
And a lot of people were yelling at me for picking characters specifically based in New York City to prove my point. It's not hard to do when most of the most famous Marvel characters are based in New York City. Yes, you have Black Panther being based in Wakanda. You have characters hailing from Europe, of course. There are characters from all over the world. However, you really can't get over the fact that Marvel is very centralized in New York City. And of course it is. Marvel comic book writers back in the day, specifically one Stan Lee, tended to set everything in New York City since that's where they were based out of, and that's where they could just look out their door and find locations to set their comic book characters. So it made sense. But of course I'll get comments saying it's not actually geographically diverse if all of the characters I mentioned are still set in America. And to that I say, you don't really know how big America is, do you? For context, the entire size of the contiguous United States... Contiguous? Is that a word?
Contiguous.
Sharing a common border or touching. The 48 contiguous states. Yeah, okay, I was right. Its area is almost the size of all of Europe combined. So, yeah, if you look at it, having characters be set in one city, and in the fact of Daredevil, in a 1 by 1 mile neighborhood, is not as geographically diverse as DC, where you get characters like Batman in New Jersey, Superman in Delaware, The Flash in Missouri, Wonder Woman either in Washington, D.C. or California, depending on the day. If you really want to split hairs here and say that she's in D.C., then you can go ahead and put Coast City with Green Lantern in California. Boom, problem solved. So just because I'm not naming another country doesn't defeat my point. Another fun one you guys are yelling at me about is my treatment of Sue Storm. Because of course, I made a YouTube short saying this.
Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, definitely plays around too much. If you weren't aware, she's actually married to Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards. But that doesn't always stop her extramarital affairs.
I was getting a lot of feedback saying I'm not correct in this situation, that she was very loyal to Reed Richards. But, if we're splitting hairs here, go ahead and look at these panels, where she is very tempted to get a taste of that dark chocolate with Black Panther. She has to consistently remind herself not to make any actions, even though she's absolutely wanting to. And yes, correct, she doesn't act on those impulses, but the point remains. And yeah, let's not forget about that time that she was in a machine that was trying to give her her deepest, darkest fantasy, which was hooking up with Namor. Who would have thought? And even says, don't tell Reed. What more do you want? And finally, we're going to have to go back to Deadpool 3, because when the movie came out, I made a short saying this.
So now there's two of the exact same character from the exact same universe living at the exact same time at different ages. Plus with this Wolverine joining the universe, that means there's 2 Wolverines, because the main Wolverine doesn't die for another 5 years. Movie's still a 10 out of 10 to me.
And here's the thing. I am 100% correct. Allow me to educate you. At the beginning of Deadpool 3, we find out Wade's universe is dying, specifically because Logan dies at the end of Logan. And we see that Wade goes forward in time trying to find Wolverine, and of course that's where we get the whole bye 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 number with the skeleton. However, as was previously stated in this clip right here by Ryan Reynolds,
Logan takes place in 2029, totally separate thing. Logan died in Logan, not touching that.
And I'm going to show these 2 clips right here, where you can see that Deadpool goes back in time to the Avengers headquarters with Happy Hogan, then travels forward in time to the present day, which at that point was 2024. Now, are you with me? 2029 is the point where everything starts to unravel for the universe that Deadpool is in. That's why he goes out and tries to find a new anchor being, Wolverine, to replace the one that dies. However, if you look at the dates, 2024, 2029, Logan is still alive for 5 more years. And maybe you're saying, oh, that's not when that part is set, because the Time Ripper and everything involving that and the TVA. No, it is set in 2024. Because Paradox says it'll take 72 hours to get the Time Ripper fully activated before they're able to destroy the rest of the universe. We also see there is a day-night cycle in the Void, so even though it's beyond our normal space-time, obviously there is some kind of passage of time there. Because realistically, it's the Time Variance Authority. If 72 hours wasn't critical for them actually starting it and finishing it on planet Earth, why couldn't they just drop it off, travel 72 hours in the future, and have it be done? But not only is there 2 Wolverines, there's also 2 X-23s, because Laura comes back with Wolverine. However, it's the Laura from the Logan universe, as she has the exact same glasses and everything. And once again, the Logan universe is the Deadpool universe, just set 5 years previously. But how does the universe go from completely normal at the end of Deadpool 3 to fucking Mad Max at the end of Logan in 5 years' time? I don't know. That's not my problem to clarify. But we can absolutely agree that Laura is older than 5 years old at the time of Logan. Therefore, both of them would still be existing in the current universe. And now there are 2 of them, with the other universe's versions being dropped in to Wade's. And for some reason, no one else can see that. How am I the only one who's putting it together? I mean, if I'm going to die on a hill, this is going to be it, because it's the only thing that makes sense. And if you can think of an alternate example on how that is wrong, go ahead and let me know, and I'll really think about it before I tell you you're wrong. Let's be completely honest here. I've triggered you guys way more times than that. And if you want me to address more controversies in the comments, go ahead and let me know.